to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me. I'm Rob. Let's get you updated for a Thursday night.
You were pausing. You had no clue what to say there. You can tell. He was like,
I was like, we're not on the road right now.
We're not. I don't know. What's the show about again? But the... Yeah.
It's the Wi-Fi here. It's so spotty.
All right, guys. Yeah, we're gonna go over salary cap news here today. It's been a big thing coming in. The salary cap. How it's going to be next year. We have the news. And of course, with the latest and greatest in Giants news and rumors overall, guys, for you here. So let's end the week on a good note here. First off, we got to talk about the salary cap here. It's expected to rise up. So the NFL has informed teams that the salary cap will be raised significantly, not just minor, it's big time. So salary is expected to be somewhere between $277.5 to $281.5 million, based on the numbers Spotrac. The Giants will have an available top 51 cap space of $45.1 million. Now, for those who may be wondering, what the hell does that mean? That means basically we're taking the scrubs off the roster that probably won't even be on for long and just giving, like, if the active roster started right now and this was week one, this is how much your salary cap space you would have. That's the important one. People talk all the time about how much cap a team has when it comes down to the offseason. Top 51 cap space. That's what matters. So 100%. That's a good amount of space. Like, you can get some people with that. I don't know how many people, because you still got to figure it. You got to figure that the draft class is going to go into that, which is probably going to be $6-7 million if I had to guess. I don't have the exact numbers as far as the Giants, because quite frankly, I don't care until the draft happens, because things move, things change. The Giants could move up, move back, and things all of a sudden change by a good amount there. But obviously, we need some millions of dollars for that there. But we got the cap space, guys, to do stuff. We do, and the Giants, I fully expect to do stuff. They've already said point blank in not so subtle rumors that they plan on getting a significant piece in offense. We all know that they're going to get a quarterback. Why? Because we have none.
They have to.
Yes, they're kind of expensive. That's like saying I have everything to build a car except the engine.
Yeah.
Kind of need that part. Yes.
Your transmission is missing, but we have a car.
Yes. I have a brand new property with no house on it.
Yeah. It's like a lovely lot.
That's the equivalent of what's going on here. So, but let's talk about cap space though, because as I said a minute ago, we got $45.1 million is going to be the estimated cap space here when you just count the top 51 here. But the Giants could have a whole lot more, guys, and we could have $85 million in cap space, guys. $85 million. Look, Rob's all choked up about this. That's what's going on.
I love it. Oh my God.
So this is coming from Dan Duggan of The Athletic. He said,
"That's Stafford. Here we come. Cooper Cup. Let's go."
I don't know about that one, but Dan Duggan of The Athletic said cutting Nunez-Roches would create $3.6 million in cap space while leaving $1.4 million in dead money. That's a no-brainer. The Giants don't need to have $5 million committed to a 31-year-old rotational defensive tackle. Wow, that's kind of sad, but it's true. Cutting Gano and Nunez-Roches would give the Giants a projected $50 million in cap space. They could create an additional $37.4 million in cap space with max restructures of Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns. But $50 million is more than enough cap space to operate, so they should avoid any significant restructures this season. But they could. That's the scary part, guys. I part of that's got me like, woo. Part of that's got me, oh. Because it's like, we know we got a GM who knows he's on his last legs. This is like sending a man with a death wish with his life savings in cash and putting it in his pocket and hoping it's going to stay there. Like,
here, go to Vegas.
Like, I'm dead next week anyway. What do I care? Like,
yeah,
like that's where we're at. It's like he knows he's been told under no for butts, both privately and publicly, that you don't win here, you're gone. Like, you have to win right now, or you're going to be gone. And you make people make moves out of fear when that happens. So I'm hoping somehow that's not what happens. Because $85 million is a good amount of money to play with. But $50 million, as they said, is enough to play with. Like, we don't need to spend ridiculous money, because keep in mind, when people talk about these contracts, let's say somebody gets a 5-year, $100 million contract, which is a pretty massive contract, obviously. You know, you're not paying them $20 million a year. You're paying them like $12 million the first year, $14 million the next year, 18 the year after that. Like, they'll move money around. That's what they all do. They backload every contract because they'd rather have fake money towards the end than actually have to pay real money in the beginning.
Yeah. I love it when they do that too. Like, it's you get 12 million this year, you get 14 million the next year, and then the year that's not guaranteed, you're going to get 24. And cut you are.
Oh my God!
Or
just go.
Cut it out.
We're talking about Step by Step and Perfect Strangers before the show started. For those who remember those shows, and there he is now doing an Uncle Joey here from Full House. Wow! But like I said, that's what you get when you do these contracts. Let's say, for example, last year, Brian Burns, his cap number was $15.5 million. Like I said, you can't
not quite that 30.
Now, the next 5 years it is, or next 4 years it is, but that first year it wasn't. That's what they do. The first year is kind of a discount year at that point, even though it all averages out the same thing. It's just trying to keep some cap space to function with there. So you got to pay the piper eventually, as the Saints. So, I listen, if you look at what we need in reality, we need a top flight corner. I don't care which one. There's a couple of them out there that I'm okay with that are legit number ones.
Yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. They won't be top 10 CBs in the league, but they won't be bottom 10 either. So, like, we just need some legit, solid NFL corners, and at least one. But I wouldn't even mind two. It just depends on what they got room wise. We need to go get some defensive linemen. It's ironic we're talking about getting rid of Nacho, but Nacho unfortunately has not performed. I would go up to him and ask him to take a pay cut. I wouldn't even cut him. I would say, hey, can we get you down to $3 million a year?
Yeah, how can we get you there? Not just, can we? How?
Yeah, because something's got to give. And you can't just get rid of one of the very few veteran defensive linemen you have. You basically have two on the roster, guys. And the rest of them are late round or undrafted rookie free agents, guys. It's like, you can't build around that.
No.
So, like I said, you need you need to look at your offensive line, whether it's just re-signing Greg Van Roten and somebody else, or trying to go for a big guy like Trey Smith that we talked about yesterday. You need to get a receiver, whether it's re-signing Slayton or something. There's spots you need, but $15 million you can do that. The only way you need to start restructuring people, in my eyes, is if you're going to go after a top talent quarterback. And when I say top talent, I should say top of the available quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like, we're not getting a Patrick Mahomes here, but even if you want to get a Matt Stafford, as people keep talking about, if you want to get a Kirk Cousins, you're going to have to spend some money. Now, Justin Fields, that may be something that,
it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, a lot cheaper. Russell Wilson, maybe a lot cheaper. It all depends on what they want to do. But like I said, my biggest thing is, I don't want this to be a scenario where Joe Shane goes on a crazy spending spree like the Giants did a few years ago. We got the one playoff season out of it. Remember, we got Olivier Vernon and Snacks, and we got Jack Rabbit, and we got a couple big guys on defense that really had a great first year. But we spent all that money to get into the playoffs one year and to be right out the first round. That was the infamous boat trip video. Yes. But yeah, like I said, I'm all for getting some people this year. We need some players. But I feel like we also don't need to go out and sign the big players. Because they're not going to want to come here. Let's be frank. If they're coming here, they're coming here because of dollar signs, and that's not what you want to. Yeah,
you're going to have to entice him with a couple extra mil just to play here because
we did that last year. We have to get $5 million extra this year.
Yeah,
remember Hard Knocks? Oh, they want more money? Here, just throw them $1 million. Throw them another $1 million. That's what Joe Shane kept doing. Oh, the Jets are offering $10 million. We're offering $11 million.
Yeah,
that's what we did. Like we literally saw it on the video. I mean, but we have big name guys. We have Dexter Lawrence. We have Bobby Okereke. We have rookies that are coming their second year in Phillips and Newman. Like we have guys on defense. We just need to get some guys to fill in the blanks. That's what we need. We have studs. We got Brian Burns. We got Kayvon Thibodeau, who may not be what we hoped he was so far, but he's at least above average edge rusher. I think that's safe to say. If some people will fight me, but I don't think anybody sees a below average.
No, definitely a below average. Some people still chase the first round pick, Thibodeau's, but if you're watching, I was talking to a Giants fan Tuesday, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he was great. Definitely took a big step back this year." And I don't know if you could say he took a big step back. He took a little step back.
I don't think he took a step back at all. He just had less luck.
Well, it's not even just less luck. I mean, when he played the Commanders 2 years ago and got half his sacks in 2 games.
Yeah.
But
that's not I'm talking about his pressure to sack ratio was ridiculously high last year. It was kind of remember that year that Marcus Golden had 10 sacks for us? Same thing. And this year he came down to earth and he got the same kind of, pressures with a whole lot less sacks because he got more of a legitimate. I just don't think Kayvon Thibodeau is that 13, 14 sack guy. He's just not. I think what he is, he's the guy who's going to get you probably about 6 sacks a season, may occasionally get to close to 10 in a good year, but he's also not the worst, edge rush defender either for that. He's a guy that, even though he's setting the edge to go after the quarterback, he's been improving the last year or so as far as stopping the run as well from that position. Look what happened when we got rid of him because of the injury for a couple weeks and put Azeez Ojulari in. That run defense went to poop, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that people don't look at. Same as Brian Burns. We talked about it before. I don't think he's a $30 million guy, but he's a hell of a good run stopper from the edge position. And that's what makes him so much a guy people like, is because he may not give you 15 sacks in the season, but he's going to give you 8 or 9 and play way above average on run defense.
Which is something that Giants have been lacking at.
I think we're set of the big. I think we're set of the big stars. I mean, the offensive side, you got Malik Nabers, you got Tyrone Tracy Jr., who's up and coming. You got Wan'Dale Robinson. You got Theo Johnson, who could be up and coming at that point. You got Andrew Thomas. We need guys who just are solid football players. We don't need to run out and go get the big name guys. I would rather us go see 6 or 7 solid football players than go get one stud and poop for the rest of them. Too many holes. Yeah. Like I said, just too many holes.
Like a brothel. Too many holes.
Never enough holes there.
Yeah.
Too many bills, but that's a whole different problem.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of Giants stars here. So PFF had their annual ranking of their top 101 players in the NFL. The Giants actually had 2 players in it, which, let's be very frank, is not a good ratio because there's 32 teams. You should have 3 just to be an average team, but we still had 2.
Better than what we've been in a long time.
Exactly. First one is a no-brainer. You saw him on the image there, and that was Dexter Lawrence, who is literally, we've said it before, I'll say it again, the absolute best nose tackle in all of football. Got ranked number 53. PFF said Lawrence continues to play like one of the best defensive tackles in football, earning a top 3 grade at the position for the 3rd straight year. In fact, he was the only interior defender in the league with an 80+ grades, both as a run defender and pass rusher in 2024. Lawrence's 9 sacks in the season were 3rd most among defensive tackles as well. It's the very important stat that they don't include in that. It's how many games he played. Because Dexter Lawrence was hurt this year.
And shut down for pretty early.
He did it in 12 games, guys. 9 sacks in 12 games. Like, he missed almost a third of the season. Like, he would have had like 13 sacks this season if he had continued at that pace.
Absolutely amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't get enough credit, I feel like, for what he did this year, especially with the talent around him or lack thereof. We've said it before. Like, okay, and it's confusion when I say this sometimes, so I'm going to say it this way. Defensive linemen, not edge rushers. Because people, when I hear defensive linemen, they go to edge rushers. Edge rushers are outside linebackers, in my eyes. That's how I word them at that point. I'm talking about the front three in a 3-4 defense. It was Dexter, Lawrence, and Poop. Like, he was surrounded by Poop. And that's what he did. Literally the best defensive tackle in all of football. I shouldn't even say nose tackle anymore. I should say the best defensive tackle in all of football. They said it right there. The only interior defender in the league with an 80-plus grade, both as a pass rusher and a run defender. The guy is a freaking stud. And what makes me even more amazing is the fact that you're looking at a team that, again, surrounded him with Poop, and he still made his effort there.
Yeah, not just like the emoji Poop, but like the one from Jurassic Park.
It's like post
when she was looking for the lilac berries.
Oh my god! That was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I hope you wash your hands.
Yes, that was the greatest line. Like I said, I just don't think the man gets enough credit. But there he is at number 53. Number 59, Malik Nabers. And PFF said Nabers was the best receiver in college football last year at LSU, and he was the NFL's best rookie receiver this season. His 1,204 receiving yards ranked 7th amongst all receivers in the league in 2024, while his 86.7 PFF grade was 8th. Nabers was especially dangerous after the catch, placing 3rd in receiving yards after contact, 256, and 5th in forced missed tackles, 19. The Giants drafted an LSU receiver in the first round 10 years ago in Odell Beckham Jr. Looks like they struck gold again with the same exact method. Here's the difference, I will say this, though, between OBJ and Nabers. And this is not a knock in any way in OBJ. Nabers had much higher expectations. Like, OBJ was coming in as a first-round rookie receiver. There's expectations. I get that. Nabers was a 6th overall pick. I think OBJ, was like a 16th, I want to say, or something like that.
Yeah, it was correctly. Mid. Yeah.
There's a big difference between a top 10 pick and a mid-first-round pick. And I hate to say that because I know it's not that much different. We're talking 10 selections. But you're still saying 10 selections in the beginning of the first round, which is where the big difference is at that point. You know? I think it was more difficult. Plus, OBJ had Eli. There was definitely no Eli right now. Eli could have probably been our starting quarterback this year, right now, just coming in.
Powers,
like seriously, you know,
just imagine what Malik could have done with Eli. Like,
I know, my God, you know, like I said, he was the focal point of the offense. And don't get me wrong, OBJ became the focal point of the offense his rookie year. Amazing rookie year. We've said it before. Like, he was injured for the first couple games. Like, you know, one of the best rookie receiving years you'll ever see. But Nabers from week 1 was the guy that teams were trying to stop on defense. Correct. The defenses were looking at the Giants offense going, who do we stop? That guy, Malik Nabers. Because the quarterback don't scare us, the running game doesn't scare us, and no other receiver scares us.
So let's go with their 6th overall. Like, also, OBJ didn't have Whale thrown to him. Like, didn't have Luck thrown to him.
Well, my
quarterback. Sorry, Lock.
Yeah. It's just like like I said, there's no disrespect to OBJ. Amazing rookie season. Very glad to have watched both seasons and blessed to have been able to. But Nabers had such high expectations, and he met every single expectation. Like, I feel like you can't be mad in any way, shape, or form looking at the rookie season he had. Could you be mad that there's some drops? I don't think mad's the right word. I think you can say I was disappointed the drops. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie. If you were expecting perfection, that's on you. There comes to a point where it's on you. It's not on the person who made the mistakes when you're expecting too much. And if that's your big issue with with Nabers, it's on you. Looking at you, Paul Tino. Just saying, because he said it multiple times before. Like it's not Nabers' fault that he's put in the limelight like that. That's the Giants for not having any talent around him. Point blank. You can't be expecting to be a team savior from a rookie wide receiver. You shouldn't expect that of any rookie. It kind of comes to the territory with a quarterback. That's just life. But you shouldn't expect it. That's ridiculous. And I respect some of the guys who I've heard trash, including Paul Tito. Let's be honest, the guy's a little bit of a homer, but he actually does know football. And like I said, it's just way too high expectations of the kid. But he's met every expectation in my eyes. You're disappointed. That's on you. Let's talk about a Giants player who has gone ahead and retired here. So a couple of years ago, you may remember, especially if you watched our show back then, because I ranted about this man one time, very, very big time.
Yeah.
I did, and I did the rest of that year. Jon Feliciano has officially retired. And obviously, the game I'm referring to is the game with the Washington Commanders where the Giants tied them. And they tied them because of a stupid taunting penalty by Jon Feliciano, who was flexing over. I don't remember what Commanders player it was, but he was flexing over him while he was on the ground, basically. But listen, overall, the guy was with us 1 year. He was with the year we went to the playoffs. Like, you can't sit there and hate on the guy.
Yeah. And, he played on a bad line. He moved around.
Yep. And he was entertaining. He had a personality. He really did. Speaking of the personality, this is what he said when he gave his retirement speech there. It was an online post, and he did mention New York. So he said, "I always wanted to play in New York. I know it's in New Jersey, but it's right there. Relax," which I love he put that there because he knew the year I got to spend there was incredible. Helping the Giants win a postseason game in Minnesota was definitely my favorite moment of that year. I get to rub it in my wife's family's face for the rest of my life. And if you know me, you know I love talking. They bleeped it out. We know he's saying a certain word that rhymes with spit. It refers to poop.
Yeah.
I think set a record for the amount of times we said poop in an episode, by the way. I think we've broken it now.
What? Poop? I don't know. We could probably say poop a few more times. So there might be a bigger poopier episode. I'm just trying. Listen, YouTube hates that we cuss. It gets us in trouble, and then we don't get money from them. And I want to win and to get money. So we can't win. We're Giants fans, so at least get some money. But like I said, I want to respect what Jon Feliciano did for us, because he did. Again, I harp on that one play, but the guy busted his butt here. The team had a good year with him. He wasn't exactly put in the best scenario. And even though he was friends with him, he still had to be coached by Bobby Johnson. So, I mean, it's like, just all kinds of issues left and right for the guy. He goes over to San Francisco for a couple of years, gets in the Super Bowl 1 year, ends up this year really, really banged up and doesn't play at all. And, you might even see him back a little bit, by the way, because he did say that there's a couple teams, including the Niners and Bills, that if they needed him for a postseason run, maybe he'd come out of retirement for that. That must be nice. Yeah, right.
Imagine that. I'm retired. Unless things go really, really well, and I can be on for the ride as things go very, very well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of an equivalent in a regular job like that. Like, imagine that. Like, I'll come back on if we're down to the last week of the month, and we're having record profits, and there's profit sharing.
And we're all about to hit this big bar.
Yeah, like that's what I feel like. That's what he just did, basically. Whatever. I mean, listen, it happens with guys. They come back like that all the time. So, but like I said, congrats, Jon Feliciano, on a very good career. Rest up. Maybe come back for that postseason run. After all, we get to congratulate you on retirement again next year. Who knows? All righty, guys. Let's pay the bills real quick, and then we got a few more topics, and then we're going to get into your comments there. So any comments you have, keep them rolling, guys. And let's
keep rolling, pay the bills.
What? Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Oh yeah! All right, guys, and of course you can always support the show by doing the simple things: the share, the like, the subscribe, 100% free. Tell a friend. We suck at marketing. We're horrible at marketing. We count on you all to go ahead and help spread the word to us. And then, of course, you can also support the show by doing a super chat on YouTube. You can support the show by doing setting stars on Facebook. There's all kinds of ways to do that. But like I said, listen, however you support us, whether monetarily, time-wise, telling people about it, we appreciate it.
Like, subscribe,
yeah. Like this is, I'll tell you guys, we have been doing this now for a few different years now. And February, I'll tell you guys point blank, I give you a little behind the scenes. February is always the worst stat month for the show every single month. And I talked to plenty of other, content creators. We do converse with each other, and including, yes, some of the big names out there, and they all tell me the same exact thing. So I just want to say thank you to those who are watching and listening. And what is the slowest month there is of the year? You guys are truly the true fans and
the true goofies.
And like I said, much appreciated there. Because point blank, without you guys, this show would be boring. It'd just be me and Rob on the phone chit-chatting instead of doing all this setup and I have to do all this stuff here.
Yeah.
But like I said, guys, we really do appreciate you guys for supporting the show, being here, commenting, and letting people know about it. And like I said, any other way you want to support the show there. So
yeah, mucho gracias.
Yeah. And I know I've said it a couple times in the show, but we should have a store starting soon as well for different merchandise, which won't just be us with, our logo and stuff. It'll also be making fun of certain teams in a certain division that the Giants may be a part of. Just throwing it out there. So, like I said, should we get that rolling there soon if I ever can get some spare time? I think I might be able to do it this weekend. That'd be nice.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So, let's get into the next bit of news here. All righty. So,
comments.
PFF. No, we do comments at the end. PFF.
Oh, you said we'll get to the comments after?
I said we get to the comments at the end of the show. At the end of the show.
Yeah.
PFF names their dream scenario for the New York Giants. I don't know why there's an S at the end of that. I'll edit that later. This is the only show we point out our own mistakes in live.
Edit it out later.
Exactly. No, I won't edit the part out. I'll just change the thumbnail for later on.
Yeah.
But anyway, PFF gave an outline for each team of what they thought would be their dream scenario at that point for teams. They gave theirs for the Giants, and it was just more like, get this one receiver, get this one free agent, get this one draft pick. It wasn't a full plan. When I saw the article, I got excited. I'm like, that'd be kind of cool to talk about. And I'm like, okay. It's still kind of cool, but it's not as cool as I was hoping. I was hoping like a whole plan.
Yeah.
But they're doing all 32 teams. I get it. And we definitely need a lot more fixing than most teams. Most teams are like, we got 2 players. We're good. Giants are like, we got 2 players. We need 30 more. That's where we're at. Just be honest. So their top free agent signing that they had for the Giants in their dream scenario. Yeah, I'm not. This is a dream that can very easily turn into a nightmare. Stephon Diggs, wide receiver of the Houston Texans. We talked about him yesterday in a show breaking down potential free agent targets for the Giants. Listen, again, very talented guy. You could do a whole lot worse as a wide receiver too, that's for damn sure. A guy that is borderline to the Hall of Fame the way his career is going right now. It depends on how many more years he plays for, but the man could easily be in Canton when this is done.
Yeah.
Though if he gets in before Eli, I'll throw a hissy fit like you wouldn't believe.
100%. But he also, what comes with all that talent also comes with the head case of it. And like we talked about last night, do you want your 6th round draft pick to be around that?
Yeah. I mean, that's game 6 overall pick, not 6th round.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
But yeah, I wouldn't want him personally. He's not anyone. I hate to say it this way because it's so difficult because we don't know these people personally. Like I don't try to front and say, oh, I know Stephon Diggs personally. I know why he is the way he is, and this is why I wouldn't want him. I don't. But what I can say is I see people nonstop talking about him being upset when he was with Buffalo. I see him forcing his way into Minnesota. I see him now just one and done, and I don't hear anything about the Texans wanting to re-sign him. You notice you don't ever hear that. Oh, the Texans would definitely re-sign him. You don't hear that.
Not at all.
And I got a guy coming off an ACL injury. What's the first year off the ACL injury?
Who?
That's the down year. So I got to pay this guy money, who's already on the downswing of his career basically because of his age, who's going to have probably a bad year this year because he's coming off an ACL injury. Yeah, I'm good. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Do not pass go.
Paso.
I'm good. I'm
Go
good.
straight to Texas, El Paso.
Their dream first round draft pick for us. I think they're probably right in this one. I think Joe Shane would have to change his pants if this works out this way. He'd be so excited.
Yeah. So much peanut and jelly everywhere.
He'd have to wear the white pants that day. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. And like I said, the Giants have not even been hiding how much they respect and want to get Shedeur Sanders in the team. I think it's been so obvious it's not even funny. And it's a two-way street. We've seen him and Nabers playing catch in the streets when Shedeur came up for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. You know, you saw the Giants cleats in the locker room in their bowl game. You know, you've seen Dion even say point blank when the Giants were holding the number 1 overall pick before their dumb game against the Colts that he said, oh yeah, Shedeur will be the number 1 overall pick. No doubt in my mind. When the Giants had it. So
yeah,
I think it's a dream scenario for both, to be honest, in that one. This is what PFF wrote. They said, as alluded to in the PFF's Best Landing Spots series, with the Giants holding a top 3 draft pick, they are expected to make a play for one of the class's top quarterbacks. Sanders is often linked to New York, and given his strong foundation as a passer with fundamentally sound throwing mechanics, that gives him the tools to develop at the next level. It's no surprise why. Pairing Diggs' experience with the breakout Malik Nabers would provide Sanders with quality weapons in the receiving game and ample opportunity to produce quickly. Have they seen our offensive line? I'm just asking. Just asking for a friend. Like, again, if you think that Stephon Diggs makes this an amazing team, it's time for your randomized urine test real quick. It's just where we're at. Like,
you probably should not be behind a car or operating heavy machinery.
Yeah, I feel like that's right there. The scenario that just goes no, and I see it. A couple people talk about it. And a couple people I usually respect their football opinions. Like I said, to me, it makes no sense. I'm good. I'm nowhere near Stephon Diggs. I feel like that is the guy that's going to be the locker room cancer. Especially as he doesn't get his receptions, because Nabers is going to be the guy. And you're going to have a rookie quarterback probably, or an older quarterback on the downswing of his career. So what's going to happen when he doesn't get the ball? It's going to be an issue. It's what he is. He's an issue. So, you know, again, great talent. Not trying to take that away from him, but he's not what I want in the locker room.
No.
I'd
rather take the older D-Hop.
Oh, I would take D-Hop at a heartbeat over him.
Yep.
Like, seriously, if you told me point blank, you can have either one of them. Who do you want? Give me Hop.
D-Hop, he's accepting the role. He's going into the leadership. He helped Worthy this year develop, and then that's exactly what you want for Nabers. A guy that's
not coming off an ACL injury. Now, he did have a knee injury last year, but it wasn't an ACL, and now he's going to have time for the whole thing to go ahead and heal up before the season.
Yeah, and it's when healthy, he's always played at an elite level.
Yeah.
Even at an older age, like knowing his role, like he's always performed.
Exactly.
So I'll take something like that.
And like I said, coming off an ACL, he's probably the same player as Diggs is right now. You can't expect an 1,100-yard, 1,200-yard season out of Diggs coming off an ACL.
No.
So, alrighty. Now, we talked about the dream scenario a minute ago, according to PFF, was for the Giants to draft Shedeur Sanders. There's been a lot of people talking about the Giants potentially moving up in the draft to do so. So, Jordan Ronan of ESPN gave his thoughts on that. He said, the Giants' first and second round picks provide similar or more value than the top pick based on most modern draft charts. Even the Giants' third round pick and perhaps a 26th second round pick might provide enough value if packaged with the number 3 overall pick for the Titans to make such a move if they are not smitten with Ward or Sanders and want to defer their quarterback decision another year. This is likely what it would take for the Giants to make a move. Number 3 overall and day 2 picks. Perhaps if they could be asked to throw in another mid-round pick or future selection as well. If they are sold in either quarterback, that should not preclude them from making such a potential franchise-altering move. I got to kind of agree with Jordan. And I like him. He's one of the beat writers that I enjoy listening to because, quite frankly, he works for ESPN. The Giants can't bully him.
It's fair.
Do you not want ESPN in your locker room? Like, he can freely say his mind, saying, this organization is an embarrassment. He does that kind of stuff all the time, too, because he doesn't care. But he also doesn't sit there and just bash them. There is a difference. He gives objective opinions on stuff. And in this case here, if you're telling me that I have to give up my second round pick to get the quarterback that I want, or I have to give up a third round pick and maybe a pick next year. If you're so sure about this quarterback, you should make that move all day long.
100%.
And if you're not that sure about this quarterback, that tells you probably shouldn't be drafting them even at 3.
100%. Like,
because that says I don't think you're a franchise-changing quarterback. And if you're not a franchise-changing quarterback, you are not worthy of the 3rd overall pick. And then you might as well just admit now this is a desperation move because we don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. You take that, you drop back and take 2 quarterbacks in the draft, started in the second round.
I mean, listen,
See you later, bye.
We talked about this before in the show. I'd have no problem if they just don't like these guys. Don't force the pick. Go get Justin Fields. Go get a mid-round guy, like McCord, like Howard, like Gabriel. Get somebody like that, and call it a day.
Yeah,
and you won't be great necessarily, but let's be honest, guys. Even Jaden Daniels couldn't make this team great right now. We're that far away. So, but the big thing is you just want to improve and get one more year till we can get to a Super Bowl or something like that, I find it hard to believe that the Titans are not going to take Cam Ward number 1 overall. I really do. Like, they got the Mayo lover himself, Will Levis. You don't think that they want to upgrade over Will Levis? They'd be crazy not to.
Get that Mayo out of that locker room.
It's insanity. I mean, I don't know why all this talk keeps happening. Like, am I missing something? They have some hidden quarterback they've been holding on to for the last couple of years. Like, that's probably been the only team besides us that has that pathetic of a quarterback room.
Yeah, I mean,
Will Levis and Mason Rudolph, guys. That's not good. That is as equivalent as Drew Lock and Daniel Jones was last year. Like, seriously, if you had to start a team right now and your options were Daniel Jones and Drew Lock or Will Levis and Mason Rudolph, who are you taking?
Probably DJ. At least he's got to a playoff game.
But I'm saying it's not an easy decision.
No.
And that's the scary part, because it should be. And any other 30 of the other teams in the league, you would pick their quarterbacks over either one of these 2 teams. Even the Browns, with all their faults, you can say, okay, at least I can throw Jameis Winston out there. You know,
the Reverend himself.
Even the Raiders, which are probably the next worst quarterback room, at least they had Gardner Minshew. He's had some success elsewhere. Didn't have it last year with the Raiders, but he's had success elsewhere.
Yeah, in multiple spots.
Yeah. So, like I said, to me, we're not getting the first overall pick. Cam Ward's going to be a Titan, and everything else from there we'll find out. But we'll see. I could be wrong. We don't know. We have no clue what to expect of the Titans. Brand new GM. A brand new GM that we have no clue how to read him because we haven't had to read him before. So, we'll see what happens. All right, we got two more topics here. I got sad news for you guys first. The Giants lost the coach today. I know he didn't die. I just realized that came out bad.
Gotta say, man.
He departed. we did lose a coach here today. So we lost running backs coach Joel Thomas, who was only with the team for 1 year. He was the former Saints running back coach, and he's gone back to the Saints here. Go work with Kellen Moore. And listen, I can't sit there and say that I have extreme sadness over losing a running backs coach. Like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Like, it's not that scenario. But this is the guy who literally built up Alvin Kamara to what he is. This is the guy. Look what he did with Tyrone Tracy this year. It's a loss. It is definitely a loss. News was broken by Tom Pelissero. He said, reunion, longtime Saints running back coach Joel Thomas, who spent last season with the Giants, is returning to New Orleans on Kellen Moore's staff, sources tell the insiders. Thomas is highly regarded and recently served as offensive coordinator in the Senior Bowl. Which I think that sucks because you had a guy who let him coach in the Senior Bowl to learn about players. And now you just helped a team get the face this year.
Yeah, lame.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool. Joel Thomas. But no, seriously. Because he went to the Saints. It didn't go to the Eagles. Looking at you, Saquon. we can root for him. You know,
wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and it's a lateral move. So, I mean, I got to think his heart was just, I'd really prefer to be in New Orleans, but it was a mutual parting of ways they had. So, best of luck to him. You know, Saints are getting seems like a pretty good coach back again after a very quick, brief intermission for him there. Hopefully, whoever the Giants get to replace him is a good quality coach. But you're now talking the end of February. You're trying to replace this guy. That's not easy to do because people are already building up their staffs, and nobody wants to coach with Brian Daboll.
Pretty much.
Yes, I said it. One more story, you guys. And this one, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is going into the ridiculousness here. And I'm really hoping it is. It's not what I want. But because there's a big name involved, it's going to be something that people are going to talk about right now. And that's Floyd Mayweather as a potential part owner of the Giants. Absolute crazy talk. Listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Anytime we bring TMZ into the show, it's never good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have I not said that before? Every time they come up and every time it comes up, it's not good. This is from TMZ Sports. He said Floyd Mayweather wants to own the Giants. And we're told the 50-0 boxing legend is leading a group gunning to buy a 10% stake in the 4-time Super Bowl winning franchise. TMZ Sports has learned that the 47-year-old Mayweather and his business partner, prominent real estate magnate Meyer Orbach, are putting together an offer. There will likely be another wealthy investor added to the team, per what are being told from our sources. We're told the offer will be in the neighborhood of $700 million, and the plan is to submit the proposal soon. We're told TBE has already moved $200 million into an escrow account. First off, am I the only one who thought Floyd Mayweather was much older? I thought he was in his 50s by now. I'm like,
yeah.
And I also think that he deserves an asterisk in the same way Barry Bonds does, because the man ducked Manny Pacquiao every single chance he got until Pacquiao started looking worse, and that's where like, ooh, let's finally box Manny Pacquiao now that he's not an actual threat to my undefeated record. I'm sorry, that 50-0 as will always have an asterisk in my head. So I gotta go ahead and put that out there, but I feel like didn't Floyd Mayweather have all kinds of accusations about women and abusive behavior and all kinds of I feel like the NFL would not want that.
There was a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but there was some alleged stuff that.
And as I'm saying, accusations, I don't think he's ever been actually formally charged. But I'm thinking the NFL has to approve ownership groups.
Yeah.
And if you were the NFL and a couple of years ago you had the whole Deshaun Watson incident, this year you're dealing with the whole, incident with a kicker now, all people, like, you don't think the kicker's the one to get in trouble like this, but him getting in trouble with masseuses now. You got, how many issues with domestic violence that have happened within the NFL, and they try to distance themselves from that kind of stuff as best they can. I wonder if that's going to come back to bite him in the what, because there's been a few times he's been accused of things. Like, this is not a one-time occurrence. And again, to the best of my knowledge, never been charged. So I don't want to sit there and say things about somebody I wasn't there for. But it gets to a point where, at what point do I see enough allegations that I go, oh, something's going on here?
Yeah.
There's not always fire where there's smoke, but eventually there's enough smoke, and there's got to be a fire here somewhere. Where is this thing? Like,
yeah, I mean, the thing with Floyd too is like, for every he's got a lot of flaws, but he gets mixed up in some dumb stuff where he doesn't really belong. Like, he's not. He goes out to the clubs. He's not a drinker. Like, if you actually know how he is, some of his entourage, they talk about he just drinks close at the club, and then he normally runs back. He gives someone the keys to his car, and he runs back to his own house from the club in Vegas. He's not the person who goes out and drinks and makes stupid decisions like some other people out there going to massage parlors, if you will. He's
just play in Vegas, he'll be fine.
He boxes like he's in the WWE, and he plays the heel. And he does it purposely because when he started, he was Pretty Boy Floyd. And then he did well, but he became Money Mayweather, became the guy that just started flaunting money. Everyone hated him. He sold more fights, made more money.
Well, because he's a brilliant marketer. Let's be honest about that. Yeah. That's why he waited to play Manny Pacquiao and box him.
Yeah.
He knew,
well, I'm just saying
his thing was the undefeated. The second he lost, that's gone.
Yeah. I mean, he played games with Pacquiao for a while, and then once Pacquiao got into politics of his home country, he's like, oh, okay, let's do some steroid tests.
It's once Manny Pacquiao lost a couple fights, that's when he was like, okay, let's fight him now. And it was a massive payday for him. But
it was, but that, and also Manny was walking away from the sport. He was going to politics, trying to do the right thing for his home country. He was getting up there in age. He lost a couple rounds. There was a lot of things he waited for.
And that's why I'm saying he waited. Waited is the key part of that. But then even this year, I'm looking up because, again, there's so many allegations on people all the time. I am not a boxing fan. I'll admit that freely, guys. So I understand the fact that he's 50-0 is a big achievement. I just don't watch boxing. I feel like if I'm going to watch something, I'd rather prefer watch an MMA fight. Not that I even watch that, but I prefer to watch it because boxing is so much dancing around. It just bores me. Quite frankly, just go up to each other and beat the poop out of each other. I prefer that. If I was going to watch a boxing match back in the day with Butterbean, that guy would just go run at people and just punch him in the head.
Yeah.
That was fun. But even this past year, just October. So you're talking, 3.5 months ago, because it was late October. He got allegations of assault against an exotic dancer. Like, it's too much of a pattern for me. And again, I'm not saying guilt or innocence. I'm not there. I don't know. I'm not trying to be that guy. It's not my business to know. It's not something I've done enough research on. But again, when there's smoke, eventually there's enough smoke that there's got to be a fire somewhere. And then you throw in the fact that the NFL doesn't want that kind of image. To me, it's not going to work. Just not going to work. And the NFL will turn it down, I think, personally. They get pretty particular about that kind of stuff. Now, once you're an owner, you can have all kinds of illegitimate children. You can cut massage parlors. I'm just saying, like, they don't care. They'll back you once you're one of them. But until you are, no. So, all righty. Let's go through the comments real quick here. And then we'll get on out here for the weekend so you all can enjoy your 3-day weekend. We're officially giving you a 3-day weekend. Just tell your boss the goofball said you get off tomorrow. Let's see. John says, Roberto, after hours, well, pimps do got to keep them hoes in check. His pimp hand is strong. Not really.
Yes, super strong.
Salvatore Modica, what's up, gentlemen?
What's up, Sal?
There's gentleman here. He says this team just needs to take the best player on the board. Stay away from the Sanders at all costs. If Cam is there, then take him. Other than that, best player available. I do think there's got to be a little bit of need. I know a lot of people I see some comments. I thought I saw one about Carter later on. Like Abdul Carter is not to me the guy to go get. We've got too much already invested in edge. Unless he's the clear-cut best guy and there's nobody else available that comes close to him. Like, let's say hypothetically Travis Hunter and Will Johnson are off the board. Okay, now I'm looking at Abdul Carter if I don't want a quarterback.
Pretty much.
So, let's see. Jay says, this happens every year and all the fans get excited about the cap going up. All it does is make the contracts higher. No benefit at all unless you had to cut desirable guys over it. I mean, there's still that, though, as far as because there are some people still that will have more money and less money. Like, let's say, for example, okay, so we're gonna have like say $50 million. Well, there could be somebody else who's gonna have like nothing. They have to cut players. They actually could hurt us. That's the scary part. Because now maybe they're holding on to players they would have cut. Like you said, correct. No benefit at all unless you had to cut desirable guys over it. But it also may help the Giants. Because maybe there is one player they want. Maybe I'm wrong. I doubt it, because I think I'm right in this scenario. They should go ahead and get a bunch of decent average guys, not a whole bunch of superstars, because we can't afford a bunch of superstars. But maybe I'm wrong in what they're going to do, because, listen, they make boneheaded moves all the time. Maybe there's a guy they really want, they think is the difference maker, and they can get him now because of the extra money. It's still a possibility. Whereas maybe they couldn't before. So, JL says, just roll a scrub out there. If you don't have a quarterback, you're winning anyways. I don't want a scrub. You know why? Because a scrub is a guy who can't get no love from me.
He's hanging out of the passenger side of his best friend's ride.
Trying to holler at me. No, in all seriousness, though, I'm done with watching BS offenses and mediocre play. Like, I want at least a like an okay team. Like, I don't want a team that you go, could they even beat a college team?
Yeah,
I'm done with those days.
I don't want a team that's ranked 33 in the NFL.
Jay says, I'm okay with big money contracts if the guys are 20, 24, 25. Not like anyone we have deserves an extension. You know what? I'd have to look at the class to see who's going to be a free agent in 2025, 2026. Sorry. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think there's anybody really that I'm like, ooh, we have to make sure we re-sign this person. I mean, John Runyon Jr. I think I'm good without doing that. Yeah, I think that's not the move that I'm interested in. I'll put it that way. I'm looking here. I'm trying to see if I Google it real quick to see who it shows. And no, it doesn't show it. It shows like this year, and that's it. So I'll have to do some research on that, see if anybody actually worth an extension. But I don't think there is either off the top of my head. Unless you want to, extend Kayvon Thibodeau, but I'm not so sure I'd make that move. I know I'm definitely not extending Evan Neal.
Nope.
Instead of extending, I want to destend. Can I destend?
Yeah.
Is that an option? Jay says Kayvon is a good, solid player. He gets a bad rap for being drafted so high. Listen, that's just the expectations that come with that. That's life. Like I said, I think people seem to have this great player or bad player mentality. There are in-betweens. And most guys do fall in between. John says that's one big pile of shit. Sadu baby, Giants are back. Oh, Sadu Berry, sorry. Giants are back 2025. One Malik is better. John says, too bad we didn't have a real quarterback for Nabers. Seriously, imagine what he could have done with a real quarterback. And Sadu says, O-line, tight end, wide receiver, running back, cornerback, and QB. We are a contender in 2025. Don't forget defensive line and kicker.
Yeah.
As Jay says,
is kicking out the door.
Jay says, to do, you just named every position in football. And then he says, Tracy, 1,700 years in 2025. I think he means yards. I mean, that's a very possible yards. He wasn't that far from it this year. I gotta look it up now.
Yeah.
I think I want to say he did like what 12 or 1,300 yards.
Just shy, I think, of 13.
Let's see. Total yards. Oh, I was off. I was off actually. 1,123. So 1,700. I mean, listen, it's possible, especially when you consider the fact that he wasn't really used the first couple games, and was kind of limited the last couple games because of injury.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's possible. I wouldn't bet money on it personally, but
yeah.
John says personality. LOL. Jay says it feels like we are 1,700 years away from winning. It definitely does feel that way, man. And then Sadu goes linebacker, defensive end, fullback, kicker, snapper, nose tackle, linebacker. We have a nose tackle. That we do have. Yeah. That's one thing we do have. Then he goes, Tracy, 1,700 rushing yards in 2025. Now you're talking crazy.
Yeah.
And then Tim says, now get your quarterback, guard, receiver. We're just like adding all of these positions here. Jay says, $5. Why not do that sub that others YouTubers have a membership? We actually are talking about doing that as well. Jay, we've just had the buy me a coffee thing for a while, way before we had even the ability to do that on YouTube, because YouTube won't let you do that until you hit a certain number of subscribers, which we have hit now. But we did the buy me a coffee, we didn't have it, so who knows? We might do that as well. I just don't want to have it be where people that did the buy me a coffee and supported us this time get punished, so to speak, because there's different things we can do on YouTube, and I want to do it in a way that it doesn't hurt the people that have gone ahead and supported us from day one of the buy me a coffee.
Yeah.
So if that makes sense, trying to keep it fair where I can. John says Roberto supports the show by after hours pimping. Tim says, now get your quarterback, guard, swing tackle, receiver, and quarterback. Jay says the big names talk to you. It depends on who you consider big names. I'll put it that way. It depends on who you consider big names. I don't want to. I'm not talking to like Adam Scheffner if that's what you think. But I do have some people. I do have some people even on my phone. I have a couple of older players that have been retired for a few years. I have a couple of people that are literally credentialed media for the Giants even too. So yeah, I mean, we talk to people. We do have connections from doing this. But yeah, no, I'm not talking to Adam Scheffner if that's what you're thinking. Peter King's not calling me up before he discusses anything publicly. What do you think, Drew? Like, I'm not saying we're that people.
He just wishes me Merry Christmas.
He does, and a Happy New Year. Jay says, just get a quarterback. We worry about the rest later. Oh, well. This is Diggs is junk. Desperation is a stinky cologne. Yes, it is. And it is reeking in Giants facilities right now. Absolutely reeking. Ralph says, seems like with draft picks, most are typically like driving a new car off the dealer's lot that are immediately devalued. Like, you could probably trade Thibodeau for a number 5 overall pick for a 3rd round pick. Yeah. I've said for years that people overvalue the draft picks. But you know why they value the draft picks, though, Ralph? It's not the players. It's not the abilities. It's the contracts. It's all about the contracts. Because if Thibodeau was a free agent, someone's going to pay him. I'm guessing, and it's
25.
hard to guess before free agency. I wouldn't even say 25. I don't think he's that guy. I think he's probably $15 to $20 million a year. That's what I think he's probably going to be worth on the open market if he was there. And again, I could be way off because we don't know what people are going to be paying now this year. But based on what they've been paying the last couple of years, I think 15 to 20 is not ridiculous at all. Now, if you look at Kayvon Thibodeau's contract for the first 4 years, guys, he's in his last year. He's going to make just under $10 million. He made 8.5 last year, 7 the year before that, 6 the year before that. That's why people value the trade picks. It's not the players you get; it's the contracts for those players that you get.
100%.
Jay says, Ralph, that's why I hate the idea of picking Abdul Carter. Yeah. Again, Abdul Carter is a guy I wouldn't take. I know there's some people that like him. I would not take him personally. I think you got enough invested in that position. We don't need to keep investing more. And then from here, Jay, you've taken over the comment section. We're going to call this the J hour here, which I'm all for, dude. Go for it, man. Seriously. Yeah. He says, shitty teams let good free agents go and redraft their replacement. It's a net zero, basically. Yes and no. Sometimes it's a business decision you just got to make based on what they want to get paid and what someone's willing to pay them. You know, like I still think letting Barkley go and McKinney go in the long term is probably what it was best for the Giants. I don't like that we spent that money on Brian Burns.
Yeah,
but,
that's
we weren't going to win because we spent $30 million on a safety and a running back. We had that safety and running back, and we didn't win with them. But we replaced them with Tyler Nubin and Tyrone Tracy Jr. And we're paying a whole lot less money. Like I said, and I know everybody's all about Giants should have re-signed Saquon Barkley because he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He wouldn't win a Super Bowl with us.
Nope.
He wasn't going to make us get a ring.
We talked about this nonstop for a year now.
Yeah.
He didn't have the same line. He didn't have the same weapons. Like, it just...
No.
David McKinney.
Like I said, I would have been cool with that. I would have been okay with that because it's not a net zero. You got in this case here, you got like a net $27 million. That's what you netted was the money. And that $27 million became Brian Burns. It's not would you like to have Xavier McKinney and Saquon or Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Tyler Nubin. It's would you like to have Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley, or would you like to have Tyrone Tracy Jr., Tyler Nubin, and Brian Burns? And that's why we have to look at it because that's where the money went.
Pretty much.
So,
yeah.
Jay says, Colts Giants was the first game I ever saw where basically both teams FO and coaches should have been fired. And what's the FO?
Let's say flock off.
Oh, okay. There we go. Is that an FO A FO? Is that what they call it? FAFAO? What is it now? F around to find out.
Yeah.
I saw an article on Yahoo today. That's a new style of parenting. That's horrible. I'm not saying the premise of what it actually is, but I would never want to call it. How do you parent? I parent with the F around to find out method.
Yeah. It's been working for generations. We just renamed it. We rebranded it.
I would never call it that. That's horrible.
No.
I don't. I said the theory's not crazy. Like, let them find out the consequences while you're there to help them. But Jay says you're a Titans fan and you watched Will Levis play all year and you think they're passing on a quarterback. Exactly. He says he was like throwing ambidextrous interceptions. He says, if I was a new GM of the Titans, I would Darnold and draft Carter or trade with us. I wouldn't bet my career on Sanders or Ward. Here's the beauty of it. I don't think he necessarily has to do that. And I think that's what we lose is the conversations with the ownership. Like, if I am, the GM of the Titans, hypothetical, let's say they decide, you could say in Kansas City, Mike Drew's got this. I would sit there and tell the owner point blank, I'm not sold to either one of these quarterbacks. I think I can get a better quarterback down the line potentially, but would I have the first overall pick? That's the question. So there's a gamble either way. This is not a safe pick. This is not an easy pick. And I would seriously tell the owner point blank, I think we should take one and have a plan to replace them in a year or two if they're not good. Because we may never get this kind of pick again.
Yeah.
And I would have it just like that and set the expectation as low as possible. That's just me. Jason Mayweather doesn't have the money, dude. He spent that shit. He has been famous for like 30 years. That's why 47 seems old. Jim Irsay lives a thug life. I'm sure Floyd is fine to be an owner. Jim Irsay got it, though, because his dad died. That's the difference. He didn't have to buy into the league. He was born into the league. Jay says that Russian dude who owns the Nets had NBA investigation folders that went up to the investigator's ceiling of the office. He made it in. NBA, different sport.
Yep.
Plus, he had Russian money. Let's see. Jay says McFadden, Wandale, Tibbs are eligible. I'm not extending any of these guys right now, personally. I'm really not. Let's see. Jay says Tibbs up market, 18 to 25 next year, easy. Some edges make that much, and they are nobodies. Yeah. He says you just burned picks to replace good player you developed. Net zero. Again, the money's the difference. John says, who faulted it? Saquon could win with us, the GM and the owner and the coach. Oh, I'm not blaming Saquon for it. All I'm saying again is Saquon would not have put us over the. People are acting as if we handed a trophy to Philadelphia that we could have had if we just re-signed Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Exactly. Jay says they could have signed everyone, and FO means front office. Oh,
yeah, way off.
That's not as fun as we thought.
Yeah.
And then John says, I want to see all the quarterbacks drop in the draft. That way we can use whatever picks we get for trading block on our second pick on a quarterback. Depends on who you like. That's what it boils down to. And again, guys, keep in mind, don't trust a damn thing you hear with the Giants. Joe Schoen is not very good at a lot of things, but he's very good at playing poker.
Very shysty.
Yep. He wanted nothing to do with Kayvon Thibodeau. Y'all bought it. He expected Wink Martindale back. How'd that go? Do not trust any rumors you hear. I swear to you that Joe Schoen calls them up, these guys personally in the media. And it's like, you know what, guys? If you could help spread this around, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, please.
Because everybody just seems to run with these things. Like, seriously, I don't hear people ever talking about the Kayvon Thibodeau thing. Like, when you hear a rumor right now about the Giants in the draft, the very first thing you should say is Thibodeau. It's BS. And like I said, he doesn't have a lot of fine qualities. That is one he does have. You have no clue what this man is going to do in the draft. No clue at all.
None.
So there we go. Patrick White. That is Big Pat Sports, by the way. If you guys don't know his show, feel free to look him up on YouTube. He doesn't have his actual. He's on his personal account there, but another great Giants content creator. What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, man.
Jay says Shane acts kind of like a slimy politician. Is there a different kind of politician I'm unaware of? And then John says, Wink, where are you? Well, they expect him back last season.
Yeah.
As Jay says, I know Big Pat just grew. See, now who's name dropping, Jay? Now who's name dropping? You accused us before. See, I knew who he was, though, too. See? I knew people. All right, guys. Well, that's going to call it a night
do.
for us here. Let's see here. He says, "Good, ready for you guys to join the network." We'll talk off on that. You got my Facebook and my Twitter and all. Hit me up on that, man. As Chase says, yeah,
boys.
But yeah, guys, that's gonna call it a night for us here. We're gonna, like I said, we're back again for you Monday. As always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, guys, we guarantee you at least 3 different shows a week, no matter what. If we have to make up stories, we'll do it. We're not beyond that. Listen, guys. The crazy thing is, this is the slowest part of the year, pretty much, except for like that stretch in between camps. Like there's a little bit of stretch there as well, but like this is like the slowest part of and there's still stuff going on. That's the benefit of a crappy team, is that right now it is fun to hope and dream about what we can do to fix this team. Like there are people that just do that for a living. They fix businesses and they fix things, and I feel like that's what we need. We need John Tapper from Bar Rescue to just come in down to the Giant Stadium and just go ahead and fix this whole thing for us. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see a little more behind the scenes like that. But don't go on Hard Knocks again, Joe Shane. It would not be good for your health. Anyway, as always, guys, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we are available the next day on all the latest and greatest podcast, platforms and apps there. So Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. So if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, not just on the video, not just on the audio, but both. Why? Because every single time you do it, Tyrone Tracy Jr. gets his wings, and that's how he jumps over the pile of people to get the touchdown. So you really want to help him out. It's not for our benefits, for his. So again, appreciate you guys for watching as always. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please,